Hello there and welcome to the Spotlight. I am Kizuke. The Super Falcons of Nigeria have landed in Australia for the 2023 edition of the FIFA Women's World Cup. The showpiece will be held in Australia and New Zealand from July 20th to August 20th. That's a month. Super Falcons defender Glory Ogbonna announced this on her Twitter handle. Glory to God for safe landing. The Round the World on left side will have their group match in Australia. They've also been, placed in Group B alongside hosts. That's going to be very big to see these ladies play against Australia, Republic of Ireland, and also Canada, respectively. The Nigerian team first match will be against Canada on July 21st at the Melbourne Rectangular Stadium. The Super Falcons are the only African team to take part in All African Women's World Cup since its inception back in 1991, and that's in China. Moving on away from that story, the next story now, but congratulations to this lady. Let them go and do it well. Let them go and make us proud. I celebrate the Falcons in advance, Moving away from that, Victor OSIMHEN, Super Eagles striker and also Napoli striker, has been ranked 4th best main striker in 2022-2023 season, according to reports. OSIMHEN was placed 4th in the list for top 10 strikers category for last season, which was posted via a report on his Twitter handle on Tuesday. He topped the likes of Robert Lewandowski 5th, Gabriel Jesus 6th, Alexander Isak of Newcastle 8th, and also Dusan Vlahovic of Juventus 9th. Man City ace Erling Haaland was placed at number 1, Karim Benzema making the number 2, while Harry Kane was third, and why Harry Kane being third, and also on why Victor OSIMHEN made the list. Someone might be asking, why is Victor OSIMHEN amongst these guys? Now, OSIMHEN is an elite, and also basically in two things: finding the space in the box and taking a lot of shots. Last we checked, those are pretty important things. He wasn't a huge link-up guy for Napoli in 2022-23. He has decent at best from both pressing and passing perspective. He's shown potentials in this regard in the previous season, though. But Napoli had one man who was also doing good. Talk about Vicha Kvaratskhelia. But why they needed from OSIMHEN was just the shooting part, and he has become one of the world best at that. He led Serie A side in a shot to 135 goals, 26 shots, 135 goals, 26 expected goals, 21.6, on block shot 105, shots on goal 55, shots in the box 98, and touches in the open net box 245 at 6'1", 171 pounds, and he hasn't been the most physically important forward in the world, but he doesn't have to be. He's fast, he's strong, and he's a marvelous interpreter of space. Victor OSIMHEN was instrumental for Napoli, who became Serie A champions for the first time since 1990. He scored 26 goals in the Italian top flight to become top scorer, the first African to achieve this feat. Also, he is the top scorer in the 2023 AFCON qualifiers with 7 goals. The other time he got a brace against Leon Stars of Sierra Leone. Meanwhile, other top 10 categories for the report are goalkeeper, right back, centre back, left back, central midfielder, attacking midfielder, wingers, forward and managers. And that's for Victor OSIMHEN. Let me say it again, congratulations to Victor OSIMHEN. I'm talking about Victor because he looks very incredible this season that just concluded, and also we believe he's going to do the very, very right thing again when it comes to next season. But I don't know if he's going to stay back with the club. But still on Victor OSIMHEN, Super Eagles and Napoli striker Victor OSIMHEN has been ranked 8th best player of the 2022-23 European season in the second edition of the Marca Top 100 Award. This list makes the 100 best players of the season after the vote of 115 journalists, former players, former coaches and influencers. In addition to the popular votes for more than 10,000 people who voted on Marca.com, OSIMHEN played a key role in Napoli's Serie A title win last season, their first in 33 years. He scored 26 goals to become the first African to finish top scorer in the Italian top flight. He is the only African who is in the top 10 in the list. Other Africans who made the list or who made the top 50 of the award are the likes of Yassine Bounou, 32nd Morocco, Mohamed Salah, 37th Egypt, Andre Onana, 43rd Cameroon, Sofiane Amrabat making 47th Morocco, and also lastly Youssef El Nassiri of Sevilla making 49th for Morocco. Also, Victor OSIMHEN finished ahead of the likes of Robert Lewandowski, Luka Modric, Karim Benzema, Harry Kane, Bernardo Silva, Jude Bellingham, and also Bukayo Saka in the top 100. Meanwhile, Manchester City ace was recognized as the best footballer of the 2022-23 season in the Marca Top 100 Awards. His name is Erling Haaland. Haaland scored 5,631 points, 679 points more than second place Lionel Messi, and who got 699 points more than third place Vinicius Vinicius, right? Haaland also follows on from Karim Benzema, who won the prize last season. And that's a report about the goal scoring guys who are on the chart. To give us that very much update, Victor Osimhen comes to be number one, and I have to celebrate that, man. Moving on the show, let's talk about Alcaraz. Top seed Carlos Alcaraz opened his Wimbledon campaign in ruthless fashion by sending French veteran Jeremy Chardy into retirement with a 6-love, 6-2, 7-5 dropping, while Roger Federer received the royal seal of approval on central court. The 20-year-old Spaniard won 6-love, 6-2, 7-5 in an hour and 53 minutes under the roof of court one to lay down a serious smack. Chardy 36 waved goodbye to the Wimbledon crowd in what was his final match before retiring 18 years after winning the Wimbledon boys title. I think I played really well at the beginning of the match, but in the third set, he showed his level coming from Carlos Alcaraz. He said, I like to play rallies and battles, let's say, and I'm really happy to have played at a great level and also get through this first round. Without the proof, the sun is better for me and everyone. But I have to be really, really focused. The sound of the ball with the roof is beautiful. Chardy, who reached a career high of 25 in the world, had said beforehand the match would be a great end no matter what. He may also have revised that opinion after a first set which lasted just 22 minutes and in which he could not buy a first serve. Throwing in 7 doubles, 4 to hand Alcaraz the bag out for lunch. So it's about Carlos Alcaraz. The match began at just after 1 p.m., but it was nearly 1:45 by the time Chardy finally got a game on the board. Alcaraz also had only played just 6 matches on the grass before wins, but all venomous serves, thunderous forehands, slice backhands, and occasional beautifully disguised drop shots. Talk about Alcaraz, he now looks ominously at home on the surface, and that's for Carlos Alcaraz. Away from that quickly, let's get on to the next story. Top seed Carlos Alcaraz opened his Wimbledon campaign in ruthless fashion, like I made you understand, and that's just about this man. Everybody's really doing so many things right, and if you talk about Carlos Alcaraz anytime, you would agree with me that he's a top-notch tennis player. He looks very young, but for Jeremy Chardy, who I feel, looking at the storyline, I feel I don't know. I feel so sorry for him. He's been here before, back then when he was looking younger. But he said on this time around, nothing stops me. Nothing will be stopping me from, saying a goodbye this time around. I have to go. It's time for me to go. It's time for me to leave the court. It's time for me to leave the clay court and maybe allow the young lads get to do what they know how to do well. Don't forget, 18 years after winning the Wimbledon boys title, he said, I think I played really well at the beginning of the match, but in the third set, he showed his level, and that's Alcaraz commending this man, giving him all the accolades and all the praises that he's worth. And also, so we have to see the end of Jeremy Chardy and maybe see more of the likes of Novak Djokovic, Carlos Alcaraz, the rest of the ladies, Rebecca, Elena, who do it very well, the likes of also the Pole lady, Arena Sabalenka. These are the ladies and these are the guys who we have to be watching to see what comes next. But for now, Jeremy Chardy, for me, I would say a very goodbye to this man who has done well on the court, and we should have to give him all the accolades that he really well deserves. But on this next story, don't forget tennis is still very much interesting. The Wimbledon show is still very much on. You have to go anticipate, watch well, and see who becomes your favorite in that very much game, because it's really been interesting all the while. When I watched Novak Djokovic play, I watched Carlos Alcaraz play. That game against Jeremy Chardy was so great. We saw a whole lot of venomous serves, thunderous forehands, slide backhands, and occasional beautiful disguise drop shots. And that was just ominously very, very great. But away from the Alcaraz story, what next do I have for you? Let's get on this one now, talking about the 8-time champion who was given an extended standing ovation in his first visit and the Wimbledon since playing his final Grand Slam match there in 2021. I'm talking about Roger Federer. He gets ovation on court again. Roger Federer gets the dream ticket for the first time, while thousands of other fortunate patrons in the sport's most historic arena got another chance to watch a living legend. Shortly before the 2022 Women's Champions, Elena Rybakina began her title defense, but Federer was introduced immediately following the arrival of Catherine, Princess of Wales. The crowd also politely stood and applauded Kate Middleton, but the ovation was truly saved for Roger Federer, who retired from the sport last September at the Laver Cup. Last summer, Federer expressed home of playing in the championship one final time again. As the tournament continued to, to go on to pass without his participation, that desire became unlikelier. He would also announce his impending retirement shortly after the U.S. Open, where Serena Williams would also play for the last time. Williams, also pregnant with her second child, was asked to return to the court. And these guys, when you talk about these people, they don't want to leave the game. When they come here, they feel like it's time for them to stay. Federer owns a men's record of 8 Wimbledon titles, a start that could be matched by Novak Djokovic in less than 2 weeks. Federer also finished runner-up at the Wimbledon 4 times, once to Rafael Nadal and 3 times to Novak Djokovic. Their most recent collision for Wimbledon Championship came back in 2019 when Djokovic saved 2 match points before winning a 13-12 fifth seed. That's the man I talk about. He is a legend of all time, Novak Djokovic. Away from the story, getting into the next one now, the Spaniard had played in 23 consecutive Open, dating to 1999, and I'm talking about a game as you need to know. His dream crashed and burned Tuesday in the front 9 of the second round at the West Lancashire Golf Club with 2 budgets that ultimately moved him from qualifying to missing out by 3 shots. Talking about golf this morning, Sergio Garcia comes up short at the British Open qualifier. Garcia said after a disappointing afternoon, got a pretty bad break on 7 in the afternoon and kind of stole momentum a little bit, and then it was tough to get going again after shooting a 5 under 67 in the morning session of the 36-hole qualifier. Garcia started quickly with 3 birdies in the first 6 holes, and at one point in the afternoon was the solo leader at 8 under par. But then the mistake at the 7th happened, and the 374-yard shot par for Garcia thought he had driven the green, but instead it was on a difficult line in the rough. Just 20 yards from the putting surface, but on the front line of a mode in the downhill lie after chipping over the green. Garcia chipped back on the green, went 20 feet past, and the subsequent missed par put started a downhill slide that could not fully recover from then, making just 1 birdie over the next 12 holes. And that's for Garcia, Sergio Garcia, or Spaniard, that's the name. If you want to go the Spanish way, you could say Garcia, but you want to do English, and you could say Garcia. Next on now, football. Former AS Roma sporting director Walter Sabani says Paulo Dybala is he's one of the world's best players. They have. Dybala joined Roma last summer from Juventus. Sabatini said on his book presentation, the number 10 shirt is for Francesco Totti. Right now, Paulo is the only true champion that Roma have, but the 10 belongs to Totti. However, La Gioia for Sabatini is destined to remain, and he said, I'm convinced that Paulo Dybala will stay at Roma. He is an intelligent boy, and he is the first to be aware that he needs at least another season to overcome all his probably physical problems. He too, he knows he's found an audience that loves him and shares him unconditionally. He would be a fool to leave Roma. Coming from Sabatini. Sabatini has come to say this is a very big warning for Roma midfielder. His name is Paulo Dybala. You might call him up forward if you want to do. Now, Chelsea news now. Chelsea outcast Hakim Ziyech has taken aim at fans questioning his fitness on social media. The Moroccan international was expecting to join Saudi Arabian domestic side Al Nassr in the next coming week. However, Ziyech's move appears to have collapsed due to knee issues picked up in his medical. Hakim Ziyech does not appear impressed by the suggestion. Posting on Instagram this week, he posted a photo of himself in a full training gear on a football pitch, alongside with a caption that goes saying, "Knee problem, right?" He also added several laughing emojis in the post, showcasing his frustration. He wants to leave Chelsea. He can't wait to be a player of Al Nassr or any other club would do. I feel like for me, Hakim Ziyech has been unlucky. So what's up about Manchester United? If you're a United fan, you might be asking questions about your team. What's really going on? I'll let you know. Sheikh Jassim bin Ahmad Al Thani could soon be officially named as the preferred bidder for Man United. The Qatari royal family member has seen his offer get favoured status as compared to that of Sir Jim Ratcliffe. According to report Al Raya, the takeover process is likely to be concluded in the next few days. Sheikh Jassim is the clear favourite, and only an official announcement of his win appears to be left. Former Red Devils defender Rio Ferdinand also suggested that as much as stating on his vibe, according to a podcast, he said, I had some news from a very good source, my great source at United. Things were running quite smoothly, and it was going down to the right path. But then, obviously, the hit a bomb, and I think the big issue is when you're dealing with a group of people rather than an individual, it makes things very complex and difficult at times. Coming from Rio Ferdinand, we are being optimistic. I personally cannot wait to see what comes next about this very deal for Man United. But lastly on the show, wrapping up the show on the spotlight this morning, Premier League club Chelsea are set to make a third bid for Moise Caicedo, and we'll have to see how that comes to play. Moise Caicedo this summer has been a problem for Chelsea, wanting to get him. According to ChelseaNews.com, Brighton and Hove Albion have reportedly put the youngster price tag at £100 million. Chelsea have already had bids rejected, £55 million, £60 million respectively, but Brighton saying no. Chelsea are coming with a final bid now with £80 million, and Caicedo is reportedly keen on the deal and has agreed personal terms with the Blues. The Blues also have been eyeing a deal for him since the January transfer window. The 21-year-old has also been linked to the likes of other clubs, Major League, Arsenal, and also Manchester United. Caicedo got 1 goal and 1 assist in 37 Premier League games last season. Chelsea were 12th place in the Premier League last season with 14 points from 38 matches. So we have to wait and see what comes next up for Moise Caicedo. Thank you so much for keeping it real with me. Thank you so much for sticking around with me on the Spotlight Show. I'm Kizzy K. Good morning. We'll do this again tomorrow. Stay tuned and be safe. Bye-bye for now.